Today, I'm gonna walk you through how you can make this adorable little snow cone in 30 minutes or less. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Annie. I'm a crochet pattern designer, and this no-sew snow cone is my most recent free pattern that I released over on my blog. And today, I'm gonna be sharing the video tutorial to accompany that pattern in case you have any extra questions or if you're just a more visual learner. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the fun crochet content that I share here on my channel. I have everything ranging from crochet tips and tutorials to vlogs and just all sorts of fun stuff, and I'd love to have you around. With that being said, let's dive straight into it and start by talking about the materials we're gonna need today. For starters, you're gonna need some super bulky weight 6 yarn. I am using a mixture of Premier Parfait Chunky and Hobie Toucan. And as you can see here, I have quite a few colors with me today, but the only real colors you're gonna need are white for the base of the snow cone and a bright fun color to match your favorite flavor of snow cone. You're welcome to use as many or as few colors for the top of the snow cone as you'd like. Today I'm doing a pastel rainbow style snow cone, but you could totally just use one color and mix it up however you want. That's honestly all the fun of this pattern, is just making all the different flavors of snow cones. So other than that, you're gonna need a 5mm crochet hook. This is my size of choice with this particular yarn. We're also going to need 2 stitch markers today and some 12mm safety eyes, but you're welcome to use whatever size you'd like. The only other things we're gonna need are a pair of scissors, some polyfill, and a tapestry needle just to weave in the loose ends. With all of that out of the way, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. So we're going to be starting with our cream color first, and you're going to want to start by making a magic ring. I like to close mine a little bit tighter like this, so it's just a little easier to cinch it shut when we're done. And we're going to work 6 single crochet into our magic ring. That's the end of round 1, so I'm just going to place a stitch marker right here. And in round 2, we're just going to single crochet 6 around. At this point, I like to try to push my work like this because it does get a little tight at the bottom here, just to have the right side facing outward. So now we're on to round 3, where we're going to increase 6 times. So that looks like putting 2 single crochet into 1 stitch. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and we're gonna have a total of 12 stitches now. In round 4, we're just gonna single crochet around for a total of 12 stitches. In round 5, we're gonna do a single crochet 1 and increase, and we're going to repeat this around 6 times for a total of 18 stitches. Okay, that's done, and now we're going to move on to round 6, where we're just going to single crochet around for a total of 18 stitches. Now in round 7, we're going to do 2 single crochet and 1 increase, and we're going to repeat this for a total of 6 times, and that's going to give us a total of 24 stitches in this round. Alright, so now we're ready to move on to round 8, where we're just going to single crochet around for a total of 24 stitches. And at this point, you might notice we're repeating this process of working a round of increase and then a round of just plain single crochet, and staggering the increases like this is actually what's going to give us this cone shape. And that's just helpful to know if you are looking to make your own pattern designs and things like that. Okay, now we're moving on to round 9, where we're going to single crochet 3 and increase, repeating that 6 times for a total of 30 stitches. Okay, so at this point you might have guessed for round 10, we're just going to single crochet around for a total of 30 stitches. So now that round 10 is done, we are almost done with the base of our snow cone, and now we're going to start to work the little rim that's going to go around the snow cone. So at this point, I want you to grab your extra stitch marker, and we're going to place it into the back loop only of the first stitch of round 10. So as you can see, this is what the top of the stitch looks like. We have a front loop and a back loop, and I am just going to insert it through that back loop, just like this. And this stitch marker is just going to stay right here. This red one is our one we're using to change at the end of each round. So I'm going to go ahead and move that. And now in round 11, we're going to single crochet through the front loop only. So you'll see here we have the back loop only marked. We're going to be working through the front loop only for all of round 11. So there's one. Just to give you a better idea here, you can see the back loop and the front loop, and I am just going through this front one all the way around for a total of 30 stitches. And just to pause for a second, you're gonna know you're doing this right when you see this little ridge on the inside of your snow cone, just like this. So now I'm in the last stitch of the round, and I'm going to change the color over to purple because that's going to be the first color that I have on my snow cone. So all I'm going to do is in the last stitch, I'm going to work through the first half of the single crochet, and instead of yarning over and pulling through with the white, we're just going to yarn over and pull through with purple. And I like to tie a knot to secure things right here, and then I'm just going to cut the white because we're not going to need that anymore. So I'm going to move my stitch marker over here, the one that we've been using to change at the end of each round. And in round 12, we're going to be working into the back loop only from round 10. So we place this pink stitch marker here to help you visualize where you're going to be working for round 12. As you'll see, it's a little bit low and it might be easy to miss at first, but we're going to be working single crochets into this entire ridge around. So now that I can see where I'm working, I'm going to go ahead and move that pink stitch marker out of the way, and I am just going to single crochet 30 around into the back loop only of round 10. Okay, so now that we're in the last stitch of round 12, we're going to change the color again, repeating that same process. This time I'm going to be changing over to blue, and I'm going to pull through with the new color, tie a knot, and we are going to tie off purple. So with our blue attached, we are just going to single crochet around for a total of 30 stitches. Okay, so now we're done with round 13. It's time to change our color again before we move into round 14. And next on my list, I'm doing green. So I'm just gonna change over the color and tie off blue. And now that we have green attached, I'm just going to single crochet around for 30 stitches once again. All this yarn is slowly taking over my desk, but now in the last stitch of round 14, we are going to change over to yellow, and now we're just going to single crochet around for a total of 30 stitches. Alright, so round 15 is done, and now we're going to switch over to pink. And now that we have pink attached, we're ready to start round 16, and this is going to be where we work our first round of decreases. So we're going to work 3 single crochet. There's 1, 2, and 3, and then 1 invisible decrease, which looks like this. If you've never done it before, we work through the front loop and we go through the front loop of the next stitch. I like to yarn under, pull up a loop, and then I yarn over, pull through 2, and that just combines those 2 stitches into 1. We're going to repeat this for a total of 6 times, and this is going to reduce our stitch count down to 24. So now we're approaching the end of round 16, and this last stitch is a decrease. So I'm going to insert my hook into the front loops of the next 2 stitches, yarn under, pull up a loop, and now we're just going to do our color change as normal right here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the pink yarn, and we're going to be using coral for our next color. Alright, so we're going to attach coral. So I just attached the coral, and I'm just going to tie those in a knot. And before we start round 17, I like to start stuffing at this point just to make sure that the bottom of the snow cone is nice and firm, and we'll continue stuffing as we go. Now we're ready to go ahead and move on to round 17, and we're going to continue our decreases in this round, this time working 2 single crochet and 1 decrease. We're going to repeat this 6 times, and we will be left with a total of 18 stitches. Decrease, and in this last stitch we're going to change the color over to purple. So I'm just going to cut off this yarn right here. Okay, so I'm just going to attach purple and tie those 2 strands in a knot. And at this point, I like to go ahead and place my safety eyes. You don't have to do this, it's completely optional, but I think it's really cute to have little eyeballs on your snow cone. So first thing, you want to make sure that the seam is on the back side and the eyes are on the front side. And we're going to place the eyes between rounds 14 and 15. So this is round 17, 16, 15, 14. So between the yellow and the green. And you want to place them 5 visible stitches apart. So the other eye is going to go right about here. I'm going to go ahead and put the backs in really quick. And now we're ready to go ahead and start working round 18. In round 18, we're going to single crochet 1 and then invisible decrease, and we're going to repeat this around 6 times for a total of 12 stitches. Alright, and now we're going to color change one last time over to blue. At this point, I like to finish up all the stuffing because after this, the hole just gets way too small. And while you're stuffing, try to round out the top of the snow cone just to give it a very round appearance. Alright, so our snow cone is fully stuffed, and at this point, I like to just take the stitch marker out. Otherwise, it can get stuck in there and it's kind of hard to get it out. And we're going to work the last round, which is round 19. And for this round, we are going to invisible decrease 6 times, which will give us a total of 6 stitches remaining. Now you're going to want to cut your yarn about 8 inches away from the snow cone, or 20 centimeters, and we're just going to pull that through. And now it's time to close up this hole on the top right here. So go ahead and grab your tapestry needle, I'm just gonna put the yarn through the needle. Sometimes it's a little tricky, chenille yarn. That time it wasn't though, so that's great. And now I'm just going to insert my needle through the front loop only of these 6 stitches in the last round. And you want to try to be gentle to prevent too much shedding with chenille yarn. I know it can be kind of tricky at first. And now at this point, I like to just give it a tug just like that to close it up nice and tight. And we're just gonna sew it shut and weave in our ends. Okay, and now that the ends are woven in, I'm just going to cut the tail, and I like to just kind of push in the tail, just like that. So at this point, our snow cone is done, and if you'd like to add a mouth, I would recommend using some fingering weight black cotton yarn, and you could just simply do a little line like this. But something I've been loving recently is using little felt mouths, and you can attach these using some hot glue, and I just think they give it a really nice, seamless finish. I just think it's so, so cute. But again, you could do this, you could do some fingering weight yarn, or you could just leave it like this, and I think he's still super cute. So that wraps up our little no-sew snow cone tutorial. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I had so much fun designing this pattern and sharing it with you, and I have just loved seeing your little snow cones. I honestly think it's just the perfect little summer project if you're just getting started with crochet or you're market prepping and you want to just have some cute little things out on your table. I've even seen some of my friends attach keychains to the top of these and use velvet yarn and make really cute little keychains. They work up so quickly, they're so simple, and of course there's no sewing required, so I really just love these so much, and I'm so excited to share them with you. And don't forget, I'm gonna have all the links in the description below if you'd rather follow along with the written pattern in the future. I'll have that link down there and all the yarn and different things I use in this video. If this tutorial helped you, make sure to give it a like and comment a snow cone emoji if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye!